Hello, I'm here at Glen Oak Cemetery. Just arrived. Glen Oak Cemetery was established in 1874 and is the oldest cemetery in St. Petersburg. It is believed to be established right next to an Aboriginal burial mound, which in 200 AD was where a lot of the Minnesota people and early Ween Island settlers were buried. If you can see behind me, it's established right next to a church as well. The graveyard along with the church was actually deemed a historical landmark in 1992. Here is a sign for the graveyard. There's actually no gate to get in, so I'm assuming you can come in at any time. There's no gate or entryway or anything like that, just a simple sign here. St. Jude Great Commission Church, 2012 Auburn Street South. So if you're in the area and you want to come check it out for investigative purposes, it would probably be an easy one to come and check out.
Charles Davis. I'm a local book author. I wrote my own book, Tyrone. I didn't do nothing. But there's a story, you know, when I'm 31 years old, and it was like 2002. I was sitting out here in the park. This one, we had the old park back in the days before they built this one. The swing set was on this side, and me and my friends was sitting out, and there was no wind actually blowing, and the swing, we found it very odd that the swing was swinging by itself. It just kept swinging, went on for about a minute, 2 minutes, until me and my friends stopped the swing set. And then once we stopped it and we sat back, the swing set it started going again, and we thought that was very strange, being that it's so close to this graveyard.
Right.
It's a very old graveyard here, and over here, I don't know, it's something about this grave. Every time I go over here to this grave, Fernandez, I don't know why it'd be one of the first graves that I'm drawn to. Whoever this guy Emmanuel Fernandez is. Like,
have you done any research on it?
No, I haven't done any research on it yet, but I'm so drawn to this grave. And I actually dreamed about it once at, at a point in time.
Wow.
Of who this guy is. Something about this grave.
Born in Spain.
Mm-hmm. And what gets me is this. He is not dead, but sleeping.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's actually true.
Yes.
You know, our soul never dies.
Dude, I'm into, oh man. We think it's something now, but it's a whole nother world, man. We could be probably surrounded by 1,000 people right now just looking at us.
Yeah.
You know, that's the crazy thing about this.
I think it is true. I mean, it's not really not much in cemeteries so much, but it's everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm. That's what
it's everywhere you go. Anywhere somebody felt a connection to the earth, I feel like there's haunting everywhere. If you're at the mall, it could be haunted.
True.
You know.
True. Dude, I want to go on this whenever on my bucket list, I want to go on like a haunted tour around the city.
Yeah.
Like, I like stuff like that.
I do ghost tours in Ybor City.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Do you have a card or anything?
I might in my car.
All right.
It's Nightly Spirits. It's a pub crawl.
Yeah.
You ever feel like going to Ybor in Tampa? I do the Ybor ghost tours there.
Oh yeah, man. I'll be into that type of stuff.
Cool.
Man.
Well, I think you should definitely do some research on this guy and kind of find out where that connection is between the two of you. Yeah. Perhaps you have a lot of parallels in your lives.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he was a lot like you when he was here.
Probably so. I ain't think about that. But
yeah.
This be the first tombstone. And then, like I say, I be coming out here sometime. And I just sit out here and I just sit by his grave.
I think that's sweet. I think you should always keep doing that.
Keep doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This graveyard was known to have 300 burials. It looks to be on about an acre of land, really not big at all. And it has since, due to vandalism, lost a lot of the markers for the burials. So today, it only has 38 marked graves in it. So we're gonna just check it out. I would believe that this one would be haunted if I had to guess. It almost resembles like a fake graveyard in someone's yard for Halloween. It's that cryptic. It's absolutely the worst looking I've ever seen. Definitely needs some TLC. It's very old, but there are older cemeteries in Florida that were maintained and look a lot better than this one. Now you'll see here a big hill, a mound if you will. I'm sure that that's probably the burial mound mentioned on the internet. That was the Aboriginal burial mound. And there are tombstones all around the top of it. And they're very, very old. Some of them in bad shape. Some of them broken, tilted, and different things like that. So if we come right up here, just behind this palm tree, so there's a palm tree planted right on top of this grave. This is Miss Emily Knight Kimball, and this is believed to be the oldest marked grave on the property. She was born in 1818 and passed away in 1891. Loving mother and a tender friend, it says. And then you'll see there's literally a palm tree coming right up from her resting place. So this looks like it might be a little bit of a family plot here. So we've got a Timothy Kimball, probably her son, I would imagine. He was born in 1856, passed in 1938. Right here we have a tomb that's just been knocked over. If you can see there, it's very small. If you look just around, you can see the whole thing. The graveyard, the church is there, but there's literally not much here. And I am on top of the mound right now. Now this is one that is not gated. So if you are interested in coming and, you know, perhaps investigating, you can probably come at night, because there's really no gated entry or anything like that that's going to close up. So you could come at night and, you know, see if you can, you know, interact with any spirits or whatnot. I'm just kind of walking through because there's not much to see here, to be honest with you. Nothing much marked here. I really love it when it's all nicely kept. There's a lot of really cool artwork, you know me. But here it's just very cryptic, which leaves me to wonder if at any time it was ever well kept and maintained. Because it just never looks like it was. Right here, here's a tombstone that is broken off. And it's just on the ground lying there. We have what looks to be, maybe it was a fenced off portion that was dedicated to a family plot that is just, looks like the Titanic 100 years after its demise. You know, it's just bent and misshapen and broken. So, you know, I'd like to see pictures, if there are any, of this graveyard when it was in its heyday, if there ever was a time, you know, when it looked nice, just to see how far it fell. There's very old tombs, husband and wife. I love this, what it says though, if you can see it, and I agree with it 100%. Death is eternal life. Why should we weep? I think this one says he died as he lived, a Christian. Couldn't agree more with either one of those sayings. So I'm just, that's it. I mean, that's the whole cemetery. 38 burials, or marked burials, but at one time had 300 burials here. I'm standing right here next to the church right now. Just a quaint little church, probably a really cool little church actually, where they actually sing the hymns, which would be awesome. People don't do that anymore. Right here in front of the church, or next to the church, looks to be a family plot. Around the perimeter, some chain link fence. But some of the nicer headstones in this entire place are in here. Just the flat style. There are no burial vaults, no niches here. Nothing like that. It's just headstones for the most part. And I can just do a view of the whole thing. There's a neighbor right there, and it's not even fenced off from the neighbor. They just pulled up and they were like, I've never seen anybody over there in that cemetery before. I kind of overheard them talking. Yeah, clearly. Like, these people have just been forgotten about, and that's what gives you that heavy sort of feeling coming into a cemetery. People's loved ones have been laid to rest here for all eternity, and nobody even cares to come by and visit. So there's a little one there. I mean, they're all kind of scattered about. There doesn't really seem to be any rhyme or reason. It's very much like someone's front yard decor for Halloween. It's very cryptic, it's very sad, and you will get a heaviness in your heart walking around here, just wondering how or why people let this happen. Especially there's a church right here. Certainly the church could have funded some sort of cleanup, or, you know, at least fix the headstones that have been vandalized, or add a gate so that just anybody can't come in here all the time and vandalize the property. I have my own ideals, but I doubt they'll go very far. But that's it. You'll look there. That's most of them right there atop the mound, and then there are some back near the church. You can walk the entire cemetery in about 5 minutes. It's just sad to see, you know. That's it. I am headed out of the cemetery and over to Greenwood Cemetery. See you soon. We're here at Greenwood Cemetery. It is the 4th oldest cemetery in St. Petersburg. It spans 5 acres of land with approximately 2,000 burials, and is home to some of the earliest pioneers of St. Petersburg, as well as many Civil War veterans. So let's go in and see what we can see. So I just walked in. Of course, 17 million cars had to drive by right in the beginning there, but there's this nice circle in the middle. Now, if you'll notice, it's a little overgrown, but this cemetery was part of a project back in 2002 as one of the ones to be cleaned up around here. So they did restore some of the integrity of the original appearance of the cemetery. Because there are a lot of veterans buried here, they wanted to restore it. So the community came together. What? Does somebody own this? Do you own this? So interestingly enough, I ran into a very unique character upon walking in. Told me I couldn't film here. And I'm like, wait a minute, do you own this place? But I don't quite know his story. I'm gonna probably have a chat with him once I make my rounds around the cemetery. So he seems to be just messing with me. You know, but at one time it was in really bad shape. He was telling me that there was a lot of water bottles here left as offerings. That is true. I've seen that before. We've seen that before. Not just water bottles, but we've seen beer, we've seen wine, flowers, toys, coins. So you'll see right here, Wilkinson. There are some very nice headstones here and a lot of veterans buried here. It's a little overgrown, but it's in a lot better shape than what it was. He was telling me that I might be scared if I knew what happened here, and I'm like, okay. Right here, you know I'm a big fan of the trees in the cemeteries. I don't know what it is about cemeteries, but they have the most beautiful trees. Ones that, you know, a toddler would love to climb. Just kind of taking a walk through. Not gonna lie, that guy kind of scared me a little bit. I'm like, what did I do? He was the scariest thing in here so far. I'm more afraid of the living than I am the dead, for sure. But everyone deserves to tell their story. He seems harmless. Now that I've talked to him a bit. They're kind of squatting over next to the only mausoleum in the entire place. So there are definitely some newer burials here as well. I'm probably going to have stickers all over my shoes and socks. Kind of on a busy street here, but the further back it goes into the cemetery, the more overgrown it does get, unfortunately. I'd get a lot of stickers and probably sand spurs all over me if I went down back in that way. Man, but there are some that I would like to see. Older headstones here. They're not marked on this side. So these are some definitely older headstones. This was a baby. Born in 1902, died in 1908. And looks like a family plot here, just sectioned off by, you know, the cement half wall, not even a half wall, quarter wall. And all back here, I don't want to get too far back in there. It looks like Snake Town. You know, it's very, very overgrown. But the further you get, or the closer you get to the center of the cemetery, it's more kept. So this one would be rough for an investigation of any kind. Because you're going to find yourself at night, you'd be really fighting with these weeds and stuff to get through here. You can see there, water bottle is left. There is a walk path through here. You can't get to the tombs very well to see them because of the wild jungle back there. It's a jungle back there. It's another family plot. There looks to be only 2 marked graves in here and 1 a veteran. I do like when they have some kind of separation. Oh. And this one says, Our Sailor Boy. Louis F. Brantley, electrician, USN Supreme Sacrifice, World War, passed in 1899. Heavy, heavy, heavy. The Longley plot. So here on the other side of the cemetery, it's going to be to the right side if you're walking in and walking to the left. It's been a lot better maintained, I guess, mowed more often for some reason. The other side is just very, very overgrown. It's like they totally forgot about that corner. But you can see here, the walking is getting a lot easier. Not as many weeds and overgrown burials. And I'm just walking through. There's a newer one here. Family plot. Is that a tomato? Someone left a tomato. I mean, that looks not even very old. So it's good to know people are coming and not being strangers. Oh, there's another tomato. I'll have to maybe read up on what that's supposed to mean. There are tomatoes. It's not a... There's no tomato plants around here or anything. Somebody is leaving tomatoes. I have made my way over to the other side of the cemetery. I think I see the old part over there. Every cemetery has an oldest part, if you're lucky enough to find it. Some of them are so big, it's hard to find where the oldest marker is, but that's an old plot. Oh, this one got knocked off. This part over here has some very old headstones. And it's a little overgrown, as you can see. A lot of woodpeckers out today. I keep hearing them pecking away. Lucky enough to find it, Ethel Ogden is the oldest burial here at the Greenwood Cemetery, and her burial actually took place before the Greenwood Cemetery was even a cemetery. She died in 1892. It became an established cemetery in 1897. So I haven't found it. It's so overgrown and lots of bugs. Woodpeckers, if you can hear them. And those guys are kind of sitting over there. So I'm gonna make my way out of here. I'll see you soon. I'm here at Dr. Barbecue in downtown St. Pete. Gonna get a bite to eat. thank you so much for joining me today. It was very interesting day, to be honest with you. Every once in a while, I meet some really awesome people in the cemeteries. Charles Davis, you're amazing, brother. It was really nice to meet you. If you're out there listening, good luck to you. He's written a book. He has invested $9,000 into creating this cartoon that he wants to create and make a YouTube video out of it. So if you hear of this man, Charles Davis, he's out there just trying to make it. Support him. He's going to do awesome. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a very talented YouTuber in the near future. He's working very hard to get there. But it was very nice to meet him, and it was so nice to hear somebody with the same thoughts and hear kind of their perspective on life and life after death and so on and so forth. So it was we had a great conversation. Unfortunately, because of time, I had to cut some of it out, but we had a really good conversation. I wish him the best of luck. The Glen Oak Cemetery, as you could see, was very small, but it's a great cemetery to go and visit. It definitely gives you that that sinking feeling, sort of. And the Greenwood Cemetery, that one was also very interesting. Some interesting characters leaned up against the only mausoleum in the entire cemetery, just kind of getting in the shade. You know, what's a better place to hang out than a cemetery? No one's going to bother you there. So they were just kind of hanging out in the shade over there. Scared me initially because the one guy just kind of came up to me and seemed like he was angry or upset that I was there taking photographs, but it's a public cemetery, so you're allowed to do that. But I think he was just messing with me. So, and after talking with them, everything was fine. You know, they were pretty much harmless and just there resting or whatever. So, but for the most part, it was a great day. I'm so glad you joined me. Make sure you tune in next week because I'm going to be doing a costume. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. It's going to be a surprise. So I'll see you next time.